ahead of their match against Wrexham in America. New boss Enzo Maresca, who has certainly been thrown in at the deep end, has been discussing the situation midfielder Enzo Fernandez has put himself in.
At the end, they are all human beings. I don't think there is any bad intention from any one of them. So I don't think when Enzo will be back that we have any kind of problem. As I said, the player already clarified the situation. The club did the same. So there is nothing to add. And once again, I think they are not bad person or bad human being. So can happen. It's but I don't think there is any problem at all.
Have you had a chance to speak with him?
I spoke with them. So I spoke with all of them. But as I said, the player already did statement, apologize. So it's quite clear.
Welcome to the new job. I mean, he's got to try and play things down, which he did there. But is he going to be able to quell this situation, do you think?
Yeah, I spoke about this the other day. Listen, the lad, made a silly error. And he is a human being. Enzo's absolutely correct. And far too many times we take these young footballers who we put up there on a pedestal and they say stupid stuff. Some of them have single-digit IQs, unfortunately. I don't think he's racist. I don't think many of them will make this mistake. I know his teammates are upset. When he gets back, he's going to have to stand in front of them all and apologise profusely and say, listen, it's on me. I shouldn't have sang. I shouldn't have done it. Enzo's handled that perfectly. And straight away, you got to quell it and just nip it in the bud and go, listen, it's an internal matter. He's been disciplined. He's going to get dealt with. He's got to earn the trust of his teammates back. He's going to apologise to them. I've spoken to him. Let's move on.
But that's the big issue. It's all very well him coming back saying, I'm sorry.
Sure.
And it may be genuine, but there are going to be certain players in that. I'm sure there's different groups. Those who'll say, yeah, that's fine, let's move on. Those who accept it. And those who say, hang on a minute, this is not on. So just apologising might not be enough.
I'm not sure I agree with you because I know the way footballers think and what they're caught up in pre-season. I know a few have unfollowed them on social media, It's the modern thing like young people do, whatever, to show their displeasure. I think it gets forgotten by September. And again, I'm not trying to dismiss it because it wasn't right what he did. But again, he's made a mistake. He is human. And his teammates will know what type of character he is. Now, if he's a nasty so-and-so and he has form for that type of thing, well, then there's no way back in. But only his teammates can tell us that. We don't know what goes on inside that dressing room or at that training ground. And, for a young manager in his first Premier League job, he's got to handle it as quick as he can, as best he can. I thought he did well in the press thing there.
Let me ask you this. He's a £100 million plus player, so obviously Chelsea are going to have to deal with him in a particular way. If he was a £1 million player, would this be dealt with completely differently? Would they be using him as an example? We're going to be talking about some more very disturbing findings from the anti-racism campaign shortly. I mean, this is an issue that's not going away. It has to, as you've rightly said, be taken very seriously.
Yeah, and I don't, we'd all love it to stop tomorrow, but I just think, humankind is full of good and evil, bad and good. And I don't think, with education, you hope to eradicate it as best you can. I don't think it's ever going to go away. Just like murder's never going to go away and all those things that happen in the world. So what you're asking me is if the player was a free transfer or a player cost 100 million, would I sack the free transfer player and keep? No, I deal with it the same way, like we have done over the years in different disciplinary matters. Do you know what I mean? You do what's right for the club, for its fan base, for the players. And if the player's showing remorse, if you've got a player sat there chuckling and going, this is, whatever else, and did it then, I'm not going to apologise and I don't mean it, well, then you've got a serious matter in your hand and you might look at dismissal. So, again, not trying to play it down, but, at some stage, Chelsea, have dealt with it. Their fans know, everyone knows about it. The manager's now getting asked about it, and now it's down to the player and his teammates.
Yeah, he comes back next week. He's going to meet up with the squad next week. That's when obviously he's going to have to make this apology, and we'll know a bit more. In more general terms, obviously for Maresca, he knows going to Chelsea is going to provide plenty of issues. Do you get the feeling he's the right sort of guy to be able to deal with everything that comes with being Chelsea manager?
Yeah, I think he handled the pressure at Leicester well last year. He went through a really sticky patch. At one point they dropped to third and he dug in, he didn't change his style. So I think he's definitely got that siege mentality in him. He's been around a lot of good managers over the years. And, you know, this is his first little test. Look, the Chelsea job, I was on yesterday talking about Chelsea, the owners, but Sam's a big Chelsea fan, and I was giving the owners a little bit of defence, part of the owners' union, as Sam accused me of being, you know, to the fact that they have a project, it's going to take time. The only thing I don't agree with is they're flipping managers every year. So it'd be interesting to see if Enzo is 10th after 10 games, you know, do they do it again? Because if Pochettino had got given 2 years, I was convinced that they were on the right track to be a force against Chelsea. So that'll be the interesting thing. How does he handle it at Stamford Bridge? There's one thing at Leicester in the Champ. There's another thing at Stamford Bridge. Because the one thing I can maybe not be overcritical about is football. It can be very exciting or very boring. There's very little in between. When I watched Leicester a few times last year, it was like, wow, they're dynamic. And then it was like, oh, it's like watching paint dry. So it will be interesting to see what the Chelsea faithful will think of the football.
Well, I was going to say, the Chelsea fans have a responsibility in this, don't they? I mean, I got the impression, I think it was fairly clear towards the back end of last season, they started to appreciate what Mauricio Pochettino was doing, and then he's out of the door.
Yep.
But if they start getting on the backs of Maresca, that if he makes a slow start, that probably just increases the pressure on the board to make another change.
Yeah.
So would you like the Chelsea fans themselves to lead the way?
It's tough, you know, because I've been at fault in the past for criticising my fans for being overcritical or moaning or whatever. And then I look at it another way and go, you know what? They pay their money. They're allowed to moan. As long as they keep it nice, you know, and you don't get overly personal and you don't get full of hatred and vitriol, because you can get that as well on social media and sometimes in the stadium. I'll give you an example. This time last year, my manager had a fight with 3 fans in the stands. Not a physical fight, it was a verbal fight, you could hear it. And they were basically digging out our captain, who was basically 21-year-old Harrison Burroughs. Now, saying that, you know, he's this, he's that. They were getting really, really kind of personal with that player. That player went on to win League One Player of the Year. That player is going to go on to play in the Premier League. So fans are fans. They're always going to have an opinion. I'm the same, you're the same, watching your team. So to say to the Chelsea fans, you got to give them a bit of time. You can ask them to do it, but at the same time, you can't demand that they do it. So it's down to the fans. If the fans want to create an atmosphere for the new manager and create a relationship, whatever, it's also down to the manager to buy into that and encourage them with the football he puts out there.
Yeah.
So I hope it goes well for him.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.